are you doing in my swamp? What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Sharkboy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 2005 movie, The Adventures of Sharkboy and Lavagirl. And the movie is directed by Robert Rodriguez, and is written by him and Marshall Rodriguez, and it's from a story by his son, Racer Max Rodriguez. And you could tell this movie was, like, made by, or like the story and stuff was created by a kid. Like, I think his son was only, I think he was like maybe 7 or 8 when he came up with the idea of Sharkboy and Lavagirl, and for some reason Robert Rodriguez thought this was a good idea for a movie, and the studio backed him on it and everything after the success of Spy Kids. And this movie is just, it has not aged well at all. It follows a boy named Max, who I'm guessing is named after his son, who like has this dream journal, and he has all these dreams and stuff about wanting his, he creates these superheroes, and he's wanting to go to this planet that he created called Planet Drool, and like there's this big tornado that happens and everything while he's in school, and he ends up going to Planet Drool with Sharkboy and Lavagirl. He's trying to save the planet and everything from darkness. It's really a weird movie. And as a kid, I used to love this movie. I don't really know why I loved it so much as much as I did back then, because this movie really was not even targeted for me. This movie feels like it's targeted for a lot younger kids, but for some reason I saw this movie in theaters and I just absolutely loved it. I think I was like maybe 13 when this movie came out, but this just, the movie is aged so poorly. The dialogue in here is absolutely horrible. It's really cringy. There's like, the acting is really bad too, for the most part. There's like this one kid named Linus who's kind of somewhat the villain of the movie. That way it plays out, you could tell that that like it was somewhat inspired by Star Wars. Like, he's supposed to be like this emperor person and everything that's wanting to destroy the planet. And the kid that plays him, his acting is absolutely terrible. And most of the rest of the kid actors are fine. The main boy, Max, is played by Cameron Boyd, and I thought he was alright, except for during his crying scene when he has his really terrible crying face, and like he's only half. You could tell that he's not crying at all. Like, his acting in that scene was absolutely horrible, and it's really cringy. And like they show like little flashes of it throughout the movie, like of what's going to happen later on, but you just don't know why it's going to happen. And when it finally happens, it's really cringy and really bad. But for the most part, his acting is alright. It's not like really great or anything, but it's not absolutely terrible either. And Taylor Lautner, I think, was alright as Sharkboy. I don't think he is absolutely terrible. He's actually a lot better in this than he was the Twilight movies. But I still think that really doesn't say a lot, though, anyway. But he was alright as Sharkboy. And Taylor Dooley, who plays Lavagirl, I think she was a standout of the movie. I thought she was actually really good in it, and personally, if you would have asked me, I always thought she would have been the one to make it big, because she was the one that, for some reason, was really likable and stuff. But I think out of all the kids in this movie, Taylor Lautner is the one that made it the biggest. I don't even know if Taylor Dooley does anything anymore, except heard she's going to be playing Lavagirl in another movie that's supposed to be coming out in the next few years, which is an entire reason why I wanted to rewatch this movie. But the adult cast in here is way worse than the kid cast. George Lopez is just absolutely terrible, and he's like really cheesy. He's given all these really corny one-liners and stuff that gives Arnold Schwarzenegger and Batman and Robin a run for his money. Personally, I think that at least Arnold's puns and stuff in Batman and Robin were amusing. This one, it was really pathetic, really terrible puns. And I'm a sucker for puns. I usually get a big kick out of them, and part of what made it so bad though is every time he would make a pun, he would try to explain it to Sharkboy and Lavagirl what the pun was, and it's like really dumb. And that it was a really horrible gag and everything. But he was okay, I guess. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of George Lopez anyway, but I didn't really care for him too much in this movie. I thought he was alright, but Robert Rodriguez used him a lot in this movie. He played Max's principal, and then he plays like the main villain of the movie, Mr. Electricidad, or Mr. Electric. Mr. Electricidad is the name of him when he's the principal. And then there's like quite a few other characters that he does the voices of, and he doesn't really change his voice very well. And I didn't think that he was very good in this movie. But that cast was, like I said, they were mediocre, but this movie is really mediocre. It's one that like I said, I used to love it as a kid. I don't really understand why I did it. It's really just not that good anymore. It's aged about as good as Troy Willis's Mom's Pussy. It's just really bad. The special effects in here are CGI. Like, most of the 90% of this movie was filmed in front of a green screen, and you could tell it's like extremely bad. Like, people complain about the Star Wars prequels, but this stuff is way worse than that. Like, this makes the Star Wars prequels look amazing. It's horrible. The CGI is terrible. The story is okay. It could have had a lot of potential to be a lot better than it was. And like, there's a few subplots that kind of just aren't very good, like mainly the thing with Max's parents not getting along and stuff, like, and he's wanting them to get along and everything, and by the end of the movie they're all happy again and everything, which I think that part of the reason that part of the story happened was because Robert Rodriguez and his wife, I think, were having problems and stuff. I don't know for sure, but I know they got divorced like a year or two after this movie, which if this movie is the reason they got divorced, I don't blame his wife whatsoever. But they got divorced and everything. I think that might have been part of why that subplot was in here. I'm not sure, but it went, and this movie just really is not that good. It's not absolute garbage. It's not a terrible movie, but it is definitely not near as good as I remembered it to be. I don't know why I liked it as much as I did back then. Probably because I thought that back then I had a crush on Taylor Dooley, who plays Lavagirl. I thought she was really good looking in this movie back then. Maybe that was why I liked it so much. I honestly don't really get it, because this just is not very good. Now, I swear also, if I had a dollar for every time they said the word dream in this movie, I probably would be really rich. But I think this is a good movie for kids, but as an adult revisiting it, it's just not really that much fun anymore. I'm honestly surprised that I liked it back then when I saw it, because like I said, that this movie feels like it's more targeted to like kids around 7 or 8 years old. They probably would enjoy it a lot more than most kids at the age I was when I saw this movie. But it is an okay movie, but it's not a really good one. It's not one that I'd highly recommend if you're a fan of Robert Rodriguez. I wouldn't say to skip it, because it's not a terrible movie. It's worth watching if you're, like, one of those completionists that want to see every movie he's done and stuff. It's worth watching for that, but it's definitely not one of the high points of his career. I don't think it's as bad as some people say it is, but I don't think it's really that great anymore. But I'm no longer the target audience, so that could be a huge part of it. I don't know. This movie is really, really cheesy and everything, but I'd give Sharkboy and Lavagirl a 5 out of 10. I don't enjoy this movie near as much as I used to, and I thought it was not near as fun as I remembered it to be, and all the bad special effects and stuff really, and terrible dialogue, and the writing just was not very good. This was just not a very good movie, but it was an okay movie. I do look forward to seeing the new movie that Robert Rodriguez is doing called We Can Be Superheroes, or We Can Be Heroes, or whatever it's called. It sounds like a Jimmy Neutron ripoff, but I'm looking forward to seeing that. Sharkboy and Lavagirl are going to be in that movie. I'm guessing Taylor Lautner and Taylor Dooley will return to play them. I hope they do anyway, because I think it'd be cool to see them back as these characters. I wish that the movie wouldn't be aimed at families. I hope that it will be better than this one. Hopefully the writing and dialogue and stuff will be a lot better. But I am looking forward to seeing it whenever it happens. I know it's supposed to go on Netflix or something in the next year or two, whenever it gets released. But let me know in the comments what you think of this movie, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.